All right, welcome to the first Online Coach podcast, video podcast.
Wow,
I'm excited. So here's what we're going to be doing here and what to expect from this. Hopefully don't expect too much. Again, we're going to try to set the bar really low. But what we're going to be doing here is taking a weekly, on Sunday, deep dive, helping you build an online coaching business you love by sharing the lessons we've learned along the way. So we're going to be shooting them on Sunday, and then we're going to be uploading them on Sunday.
Exactly. So just proof here. We're going to show you. Got Jay's phone here. It is 5/12, October 2nd. Hopefully that
Can we put that back on the screen actually too? This is kind of a little teaching moment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
Oop.
what you can see right here is I've actually got my daily accountability on my phone right here. So
There we go.
You can
All right.
screenshot it. Might give you guys some ideas on how you can run your coaching business. So as long as I get those 5 things done each day, the day's a win. And as you saw, one of them was post a YouTube video.
Here we go. So
Boom.
as you saw, Sunday, October 2nd. After this, we're done filming. We're going to go get some tacos, and then we're going to upload it.
Cool. So the working title for this video that
we'll
we're
figure it
thinking,
out.
We'll figure it out is how we built 2 6-figure coaching businesses organically, both within 90 days, and more importantly, how you can do the same. So roughly, we like to have 1 to 3 things that we talk about in a video, just because I can't remember more than 3 things, to be honest.
I can barely remember one thing.
Exactly. What do I have for breakfast?
Exactly.
What do I think about how I feel? So just to give some structure to these unstructured video podcasts is let's talk about why online coaching, how we kind of stumbled into it,
Yep.
and why we think it's the best online business model for anyone who's looking to get started
100%.
or even shift into. And then our backstory with online coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and then our plans for the future on how we plan to scale to 7 figures.
That's a great idea.
Cool?
Yeah, I'm in. So, you guys, again, if you're new here and just meeting us for the first time, I'm Jess, this is Jeff, and we built 2 6-figure coaching businesses both within 90 days.
Organically.
Organically.
No
And
paid ads.
we'll touch on that probably in our backstory a little bit.
Oh, good idea.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into first the opportunity with having a coaching business, an online coaching business. And I think we should start with, kind of how we found that opportunity.
Great
Really.
idea. Great
Yes.
idea.
So I'll start us off.
Please.
So we were consultants. We were high-paid consultants. And we were living in Mexico. We were traveling full-time, living in Mexico at this point.
Yeah, we've just been traveling for 3 years plus.
Yeah.
Before then we're having an extended great time
We
in
love
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Amazing.
We love Mexico. And so as consultants, anything you post online and anything anybody else posts online, whoever you're being a consultant for, if they see it, all of a sudden your phone starts ringing and they're asking you, what are you doing? Am I paying you too much?
Right, like all the consultants watching this, like you guys could probably relate to this, or even if you're not a coach yet or a consultant and you've just got like an overbearing boss, then you know what it's like when they're calling you when you're on vacation, putting up those photos of you having a great time. It's like that on steroids
Exactly.
when you make your money as a consultant.
That's exactly it. And so we were like, we want a little bit more control over our life and our lifestyle. We want to be able to not worry about having other people post things, or if we want to travel somewhere and do something fun. We just wanted to live our life essentially. So we're like, okay, let's make a pivot into more of a coaching model rather than consulting model.
Right, and so they're very similar, but there's some differences to them. So the main difference is when you're a consultant, you're going to be doing a lot of done for you stuff, and that's why you can get paid the big bucks. You know what I mean? But as a coach, which is way more scalable, it's more of a done with you approach. Now with us, we do a hybrid approach where we're doing a lot of the stuff for you. That's how we get our clients.
We like to do that though.
Really good results.
And it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's our cup of tea.
Right, but just wanted to make that little stipulation that I probably used the wrong word there, stipulation.
No,
Someone
you're okay.
throw me a dictionary, thesaurus. But that's the main difference is consultants, they do stuff for the clients, and then coaches do stuff with the clients with a little bit of hybrid
Yeah.
in there. But you can still have the same end result. Like for us, it was all about freedom, honestly. I know that word gets thrown around and it looks different for other people. For us, it's not like the Rolexes or the fake Rolexes, excuse me.
Or the real, well, yeah.
Or the rented Lambos.
Lamborghinis and all the shiny object syndrome. That's not our style.
Right, like our jam was we wanted the freedom to work from anywhere. We wanted to be able to make an impact no matter how small, as long as we were just working with a handful of clients and helping them grow their businesses. Epic. That was enough impact for us at the time.
Yeah.
And then just being able to design a lifestyle we want. Like if we were in Mexico, okay, we'd want to start the day with surfing, you know what I mean? And there were some weeks where we were averaging 30 cocktails a week. That was terrible, but
Oh
so
my God.
fun.
So fun. Yeah, that's not happening again.
Right. Yeah, the reason
But it was
I
a lot.
bring that up is like if you guys vibe with, you know, our core values, then cool, keep watching. You're gonna have a great time with us. But if freedom to work from wherever you want, making an impact, or designing a lifestyle you want just isn't your jam, and you're more about the flash and the glitz and the glamour and looking cool as opposed to like living a cool life, you know, maybe
Yeah.
exit stage, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
if-
totally fine.
Yeah. But if you're into like the simple Lux life, as we've been calling it,
I love that simple luxuries. Things like morning surf sessions and watching the sunset and being able to travel, spending your money on plane tickets rather than things. That's more our vibe.
some could say that a really good margarita is priceless. You know what
I
I mean?
would. Sometimes they're hard to come by, as we've learned.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe, okay, so let's pivot a little bit into our backstory a little bit, since we were talking about Mexico, and that's kind of where this story does begin.
Yeah, okay. So we're in Mexico at this point.
We're in Mexico, we're consultants, and we're pivoting into coaching.
Right, so we'd always dabbled in coaching ever since like I was in high school. I'm sorry, not high school, college. I'd done a little bit of coaching.
Although with you in high school, like that wouldn't surprise me. It didn't even faze me. I'm like, of course you did when you were in high school. Like this guy, this guy's a genius.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Man, I mean, if I felt like editing, I would edit that out, but let's leave it in there. I'm in. But basically, we'd done it off and on, and you had done it as well.
Mm-hmm.
When people like really twisted your arm, like, Jazz, come on, please teach me how to do this.
Yes.
And then, so we're in Mexico. Where do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so we were in Mexico and we wanted to pivot to coaching. And so we took on some coaching clients
Mhm.
and we were like, wow, seems like a great business model for us because we are able to design that lifestyle we want, but we're really able to help people and make an impact as well. And our phones aren't blowing up if they see us doing something fun online anywhere. So
Oh, can I stop you right there,
Please,
actually?
yes.
Yeah, because then we started doing some research on it, and we're like, wait, this is very flexible. You don't need a big team for this, because we had both run agencies, like little boutique agencies,
oh my gosh,
but
great teaching point.
agencies nonetheless. And right now it's very in vogue on YouTube. There's a lot of gurus pushing like start an SSMNA. Like what the heck? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you tell someone like someone's like, hey, what do you do? I run an SMMA. They'll be like, what the heck are you talking about? I run a marketing agency. Like that's what you should say. But a lot of people make it seem a lot sexier than it really is for the agency life.
Right.
It's like those margins are terrible. When we'd be in Mexico, like we'd be off surfing and then we'd come back and be like in coffee shops and we'd see the same people every single day working. Guess who they were? Agency owners.
And we've been the agency owner and we know exactly what that's like. We've ran the big teams. We've had to manage people from all over the world. We've had the client list with the demanding clients, the high paying clients, all the things. And we realized that we want our life and business just to be simpler, and we don't want to have a job within a job within a job. And what I mean by that is have the agency, but then have to manage the team and then have to serve the clients and have to do all these other pieces. We're like, okay, let's just simplify everything. We don't need a team when we do this. We can have a great client list and be able to teach a lot of people, and this is scalable because as a high paid consultant, there is a cap on how many clients you can take on unless you just keep hiring on more people, but then at the same time, now you have to manage all those people.
Right. It's like herding puppies kind of thing. And so like not only do you have to worry about attracting clients and then keeping that clients happy, but then you got to worry about your team. Like for example, I ran a video editing service for a while as well. And then I knew that for every X amount of clients I would take on, so for me, it was for every 5 clients I would take on, I would have to hire another 1 to 2 employees to help me out with that. And so basically, long story short, we could touch on some of the other business models we've done.
Yeah, if you want to know the full backstory on us and all the things that we've done to get to the point we're at now, just drop a comment and we'll do a deep dive on that in one of our videos. But
yeah, but high level, like if you're just thinking about what's the best online business model for me, and you're watching the YouTube videos and you're like, which one? I don't want to make the wrong decision. What should I do? I'll tell you right now, don't do e-com, especially with the shipping fiascos that are going on. And then the margins are not great. When you see someone with the Shopify screenshot and it's like, I'm making $1 million, best case scenario that their take home is $200K. And like even the agency owners, the bigger the agencies are, the smaller their margins are.
Oh my gosh.
So we were talking to agency owners with like 10% to 30% margins down max.
Yeah, gnarly.
It was like, wait, what? So you have a team of 20 and we're taking home way more than you are with just us and an assistant or 2? It's ridiculous. And like, which would you rather have? Like the ability to stroke your ego, puff out your chest and be like, I got this great office.
I'm making so much money, and it's like, you're not though. You're spending so much money.
Right. That's exactly it. It's not just like how much are you making, it's how much are you keeping, which, I mean, hey, we're no saints. Like we made a bunch of good money, but we spent most of it too. We had a lot of great time. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
The first couple months, and then we'll get into the backstory on how this affects you guys. First couple months, first year we were hanging out, we were spending multiple 5 figures just on dinners and
we were having so much fun on going out, but also on traveling on hot air balloon rides.
Right.
On traveling around, we spent a lot of money, but it's a lot of fun. But honestly,
it's a work hard, play hard situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it back for the world,
So basically, if you're looking for a really flexible and very lightweight business model online and you want to get started quickly, then honestly the best 3 are consulting, coaching, and course creation. Now, you need to be an authority to do course creation.
Right.
And you can't get started next day. It'll take you a few months to make a really good course if you are really good at making courses. And then, to be honest, only 7% of people are going to even open the course. Yeah. We sold courses as well. And then the downside of being a consultant is then you really can't post yourself enjoying yourself like on social media.
You have to censor yourself.
You do.
You do have to censor yourself, and that's just not fun to always be thinking like, oh, I can't, can I? Or you're with friends, don't post anything of me. It just is such a headache to try to remain censored.
Coaching's like you get started today. You don't need to have anything built like a course. You don't have to censor yourself like consulting. And literally the more lifestyle that you show, like the more clients you're going to get too, because that's the payoff that you're showing, because it's like no one cares. Like for us, we now teach people how to start a coaching business as one of our coaching models, but like it's people don't wake up and they're like, oh, I want to build a coaching business. No, like they want freedom, they want a better life. And so when they see us being proof of that, that's where we really get most of the clients from.
Well, and we're so stoked helping people reach that point. Like that is why we're doing this.
Right. And special note, we did not get into coaching. We did not start coaching by coaching other coaches how to coach. No, we've done coaching in a whole bunch of different spaces. I was selling fitness coaching all the way back in college.
Fitness, health, branding,
right.
Social media.
And then the first of the 2 that we just started in the last 12 months was a video marketing one. So let's tie it back into Mexico. So I hope that gives you guys a clear understanding of if you're a little bit cloudy and like, I don't know which online business model to choose, or if you're already in one, you're like a coach, and you're like a consultant.
You're like us and you're a consultant.
Oh
you're
my gosh. Yeah, we get you.
We understand. We've been exactly where you are. Hit us up.
Hit us up. We'll hook you up. We'll show you what to do instead.
Yeah, for sure.
So take us back to Mexico. Then we create this video marketing offer.
We create the video marketing offer and we start selling it. as intensives. That was, we had nothing created. We had the offer created, but no program.
You want to see what an intensive is?
Yeah, so an intensive is basically a very short amount of time, 1 to 2 days, could even be a half day, where you are teaching your client, the person who's paid you, everything they need to know to get a result.
That's exactly it. So a framework you can use for selling an intensive, and you could do this if you have nothing built. It's great. So ours was something along the lines of, hey, we'll show you how to master video marketing in just 1 day. Or we'll show you and your team how to master video marketing in just 1 day. Interested? Okay, cool, let's talk. And so then we started selling a couple of those for $1,500.
Just off that one line.
Just off that one line. Then we bumped up the price to $3,000. And at this point, people were like, okay, it sounds great, but what exactly do I get? Okay, so here, let me create a little Google Doc for you and send that over. And then that was pretty good. Then we bumped it up to $5,000, I think it was. And then at that point, we needed like a sexier web page. But the cool thing about selling intensives, guys, is it's not about selling stuff. It's not about the scrolling sales page. It's about getting in there, showing them how to get a result in 1 day, and then just customizing it and custom tailoring it to them. And then from all those intensives, you can then put together a really good signature program.
Yeah, I would say that was the best move we made for starting into coaching, was doing the intensives, because you learn so much. You walk in with a theory of what you think people need based on your knowledge, your experience, everything. But then working with somebody who's your ideal client, they tell you exactly what they need in their language. So then you can start to mold and shift the program to directly fit your ideal client with what they're asking for, what they're saying, what they don't know, what they do know. I mean, yeah.
So true. And so then you could start figuring out what's the best sequence for teaching people. Like, I know for me, when I first launched a course back in the day, it was called Facebook Lead Control, or FB Lead Control, how to get 50 to 100 leads per day on autopilot. It sold 300 to 400 copies. Don't quote me on the exact 100 number, but it sold hundreds. It did it launch style back in the day. And I'll be honest, it was based on what I was doing as a consultant back then. It was just road tested by one person,
right?
Yours truly. And so a way that I could have made the product a lot better is if I would have road tested it with a bunch of people. And it took me 3 months to create that program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then what Jess and I did with this coaching model is we just threw offers out there and then saw what hit. Okay, you want to learn video marketing? Okay, cool. We'll show you how to master it in a day. And then we start taking people through this process, resequencing it until every single time people come in, they get the same result. That's the whole goal. With video marketing, it was a little tricky for us, to be honest, and that's why we tabled that offer. But after we made 6 figures with it within a few months, because then we created the new coaching offer.
Exactly.
But pull me back to where you want to go.
So pulling you back, we're still in Mexico, okay? And this is before we have scaled this business.
No, we had a pretty good proof of concept. We had some money in the bank.
That's exactly what we had. Proof of concept and money. We got the cash injection we needed because in order to have a business, it needs to be running, which requires money, some capital. We had great cash injection from it.
Can I just stop you right there?
Please interrupt me.
But check this out. This is actually a really good teaching point because we started off, like Jess said, showing people how to master video marketing. Okay, well, that was a good hook at first, and then it was like, oh, we'll teach you how to create engaging video content. Okay, that was sexy to people, but then we're like, okay, how can we give people more of what they really want? They want clients, you know what I mean? So then it's like, if we were to say to someone, hey, we'll help you with video marketing, that's worth this much to them. But if you say to a business owner, hey, we'll help you get clients, that's worth this much to them. And the way we help you do that is with video marketing. You see that little nuance right there?
Yeah.
And so that's the power of just going and selling intensives and selling coaching, is you can refine your offer so freaking hard, and fast.
Just listen to what the market is saying to you and review the data.
Right, and that's why, to stroke our ego a little bit, we're really good at doing this with our clients. Every single client we brought in 2022 that we've shown how to start a 6-figure coaching business has booked calls in their first 7 days. Why? It's because they know how to dial in their niche messaging and write a banging offer, because we do it for you.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, that's
my
okay.
Soapbox.
I love the soapbox.
It's kind of a cool teaching point, though, right?
I think so. That's what this is is about. We want to give you as much value as possible. So
It's not about what you want to sell. It's about what the market actually wants, and use their language.
that's exactly it. It's not about your signature program. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what your audience is asking for and the result you can get them. Like, they're interested in what is in it for me.
Mhm.
So if you come out and say, I have this signature program, most people will be like, I don't really care about that. But what can you do for me? You know, like, what's in it for me? And then tell them the result you'll get them in a certain amount of time, hopefully. And they'll be, their ears will perk up and they'll be like, okay, I'm interested, let's chat.
Mhm. Yeah, where do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, so pulling it back, let's jump a little bit more into our backstory now about how we got to where we're at now, like to actually starting to scale.
Okay, yeah, so we have proof of concept. We've now tested the offer. Like, if we throw it out there, we can be booking calls organically, even with tiny audiences. And yeah, so then we've proven it, and we're like, hey, well, she's the boss. Like, it's no secret. We're a female-led company over here.
Well,
so,
I just handle all the business
you,
stuff.
were like, Jeff, here's what we're doing. I'm like, okay,
Perfect.
look at us making a decision together.
Well, thanks, babe. So we decided, we're like, okay, we need to be smart now because we want to build wealth and we want to scale a business. And we've had a couple places on our radar in order to be tax efficient with our business. And so we're like, all right, the 3 places we were kind of looking at was Portugal, Puerto Rico, and Dubai.
Yes.
Those were the 3 places.
But reasons why and who they would be most applicable to. You want to just give them little spark notes on it?
Right. So Portugal, we loved it there, and they do have a great tax program, but you do need to buy real estate and may have a huge investment to get your residency there. And so we were like, okay, on the table, let's think about it. And then Dubai, it makes more sense if you're in Europe. That is the place you want to be looking at. Very tax efficient. And yeah, we'll go into that maybe in another video.
Right.
We'll talk more about that. But then Puerto Rico, which is still in the US. And so in our mind, it made more sense because we could still be US citizens. We wouldn't have to, you know, get rid of that and pay a huge exit tax and deal with all of that. We could still be US citizens and we could take advantage of tax efficiency for our business. So we're like, okay, Puerto Rico, plus it's island life, Spanish culture, there's palm trees and beautiful balmy weather, let's go move there. So we decided to make a couple calls and see how we can make this happen. So mind you, there is also a deadline. You have to have 183 days within 1 calendar year to get your residency to qualify for the tax efficiency. It's Act 60, Act 20, Act 2022. So you have to have a certain amount of days. So we are within a 10-day window of missing
Right, so
that
this
deadline.
is like June-ish?
This is, yeah, June-ish. And so I'm on the phone with, and maybe we'll show this video because he recorded me on this phone call.
I'm not going to edit it in this time because I want to go get tacos after this.
Yeah. But I'm talking to this gal that can help us kind of start this process of establishing our business there and making sure that we're doing everything by the book so that we can just get it done with. So we decide that day, within 10 days of the deadline, that we're like, okay, let's do this.
She decided for us. I hear her on the phone, and she puts the girl on speaker, and the girl's like, "Oh well, yeah, you guys would be good candidates for it, but looks like you're gonna miss it this year. You know, better luck next year." And just like, wait, no, you said we got 10 days, right?
I love a challenge.
Okay, no, we can do it. So the girl's like, wait, so you're gonna find a place to live within 10 days? You're gonna just uproot and move yourself down there in 10 days, sight unseen? She's like, yeah. Jeff, you on board? Of course, let's go.
I built for spontaneity over here. That's what Jeff told me, and I'm all in. So we are all in at this point. And so we had 10 days to find an apartment, sign a lease, buy plane tickets, and get ourselves over to Puerto Rico. And we do it. We had to wrap up some business things too. So it was a very jam-packed 10 days.
And then there's a lot of people coming down to Puerto Rico. And so it was so tough even just getting a call back from a real estate agent down here.
Yeah, we could not get callbacks from real estate agents. And so when we did, and we were able to easily communicate with them where, you know, they were picking up their phone and answering our calls and vice versa, like it worked out very seamlessly. We're like, okay, we got a place. We sight unseen, they gave us a video walkthrough. We're like, okay, let's do it. So we within 8 days, we're at the airport getting ready to go on a plane. Just a little funny. It's funny now. It was not funny then, but our plane ended up getting delayed. We have 2 days to get to Puerto Rico. Our plane ends up getting delayed for about a day and a half or so, and then when
sleeping in the airport.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep in those 2 days. I'm panicking at this point because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get to Puerto Rico. So we end up getting on a flight. We get to our one stop, and it's in Mexico City, and we get on the plane. And this is also during the COVID times where, masks, and we had to wear a vaccine, or we had to have our vaccine cards and all of that. And so
I wish you wouldn't have said that word in this video because we're probably going to get 0 views from it.
Okay, we're going to cut that out.
We can leave it.
Okay, sorry. But so it was during that time too. So we get on the plane and we're all ready to go. We have all of our paperwork, everything. We followed all of the rules. Don't worry, we did our due diligence. We're wearing masks. We have our cards, everything. And we end up getting pulled off the plane and we end up missing that flight. And so then we are in the airport trying to figure out and scramble because they realize we do have our documents. And so we're scrambling trying to find our next plane. And so we made it by the skin of our teeth, and I don't even know if that is an actual saying, but we made it just in time. We got into Puerto Rico. It was like an hour before the deadline, and with feet on the ground, and that's what matters. And so we ended up making it. Had to stay in a hotel for a couple weeks.
We get on the ground, boots on the ground, then the guy who was leasing to us is like, oh, by the way, your place isn't going to be ready for a couple of weeks. We're like, so what do we do? He's like, get a hotel. We're like, okay, this is getting a little pricey. And so we get a hotel for a couple of weeks, and then he gives us the go ahead, like, oh yeah, keys to your place, come over, come check it out. There wasn't a front door on the place for like a month.
Yeah, there were a lot of construction guys. We had roommates. We were calling them about 10 roommates for the first full month, just in and out, fixing things and doing things. And so we're like, all right, but no, good spirits. We're here and we're making it happen. Well, during this process, to establish our business, we need a bank account. We need to go through the IRS and all of that, which is a process. And so, kind of long story short, and we can get into more detail later on in a video. If you want to hear about it, let us know, because I can tell you all the things. But
if you need help making the move to Puerto Rico, we got the SEAL Team 6 that makes it happen. But basically, if you want to do things right, you can't just come down and set up a business here. There's things you need to do.
That's exactly it. And it's a process. And so you can't speed it up. It needs to do its own thing. So basically, our first few months we were here, we couldn't even run a business. We couldn't take clients. We couldn't accept money. Nothing. And so we're hemorrhaging money because it is not cheap to do this process. So we're hemorrhaging money at this point, and every week, every month, I'm just watching the bank account go down and down.
Right, it's like, do we make the right decision?
What did we do?
Yeah.
And so it got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna be able to pay the bills next month? It got to that point. And we were like, okay, we got the bank account open. We have things now. It's go time. So we did full SEAL Team 6 ourselves just on our business with all right, and side note, we couldn't do any advertising at all for our business. Not that we had ever. We didn't use our ads account for a few years at this point, but they all were shut down. And so our only option was organic, which is fine because we liked organic anyways, but we could only use organic. So okay, all in, organic marketing, let's freaking go. And so we started to go in and do this organic marketing, engaging people online, posting some content here and there. And we ended up getting our first client in Puerto Rico, which was awesome. And so we were working one-on-one with her.
Yeah, she wasn't from Puerto Rico.
No. Yeah. It was online. We got her from online using organic marketing, and we were able to work one-on-one with her. And so she came in, and it was for Bang Show Video. But what we were finding out as we were talking to people is people who were identifying as coaches and consultants, they didn't have a business yet, and they didn't have their foundation set up for business. And so we started noticing this trend with a lot of people we were talking to, our first client, second client, third client, fourth client. We're like, okay, before we add in all these complexities of video, let's just get the basics kind of done here, and so that you can scale and you can then get fancy.
Yeah, that's 100% it.
Yeah.
And it goes back down to just like working with people and hearing what they want and then like seeing what they need as well. So people were coming in for a Bang Show video, and at first we were attracting anybody who needed clients. So that included real estate agents, that included consultants, that included coaches. Then we realized pretty fast that we didn't really like working with a lot of the real estate agents out there. I dig the hardworking ones, but a lot of them get into it and they think it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows. Like, oh, I'm going to get my license and sell some $1 million homes while I'm sipping rosé, working 1 day a week. Like, it can happen, but you know, some of those clients are a little tricky to work with, like less than desirable. So then we tweaked our ideal client to being consultants and coaches, and then we dialed it down to just coaches as well, just to really streamline things. But like Jess said, half the people that were coming in that were identifying as coaches had never gotten a client before. Maybe they've gotten like a client here or there, and we're like, okay, video is like lighter fluid. It's like pouring lighter fluid on the fire, kind of thing. Once you have a business going, but if you don't have an offer, you don't know who you're selling to, you don't know even how to take payment over the phone or over Zoom.
It can get messy very quick.
Right. It's like, let's stop making this a hobby. And so we've talked to a whole bunch of people. It's kind of gnarly where we're like, okay, how long have you been trying to start or grow your coaching business for? Oh, just the last few years. How much you making right now? $200 a month. It's like, whoa. And so at that point, we put the pedal on the gas, or I'm sorry, the brake a little bit. And yeah, like we were on Bloomberg TV and stuff like that. Like, product, like we did very well with it, scaled to 6 figures very fast, but then we're like, you know what, we should probably help out these people who need to hit those first 10K months. And so that's when we created a product called 6 Figure Coach. When I say product, I mean one-to-one coaching mentorship.
But we were able to create that program because we had worked with so many people one-to-one, and then eventually we transitioned it into group, but we were able to work with so many people who gave us so much insight and data on what the market was missing and what they wanted, but then also what they needed, and using their exact language. So we were able to build out this product.
100%. Yeah, and so that's why if you're watching this, you might be like, well, they used to coach people on video marketing. Yeah, a year ago, but then we had the discipline to basically nip it in the bud and be like, hey, let's table this. And then we only took it on, we turned it into a mastermind a little bit for a bit. And then eventually we just pressed pause. We're going to be opening it back up in maybe like December or so.
I think at the end of the year.
Yeah, especially once we, get our feet back into YouTube and stuff like that.
That's what we're doing right now.
Video marketing. Yeah, but since then we've just been sole focused on just helping people hit 10K a month. It's been great. I mean, we've been working one-to-one with a lot of people, then switched to group like Jess said, and maybe that's a good teaching point for people is they're like, okay, like when do I know when to switch from one-to-one
to group?
Yeah.
What we tell our clients is get your first 5 clients in the door and work with them one-to-one. And so reasons we've already stated is you get data, you can build out your program, you learn so much from them. And then at that point, you're kind of ready to switch to group because of course we are doing this to design a lifestyle we want.
Right.
And to do that, you do need time on your side. And so it saves you time, but then you're also able to help so many more people at once, which is the whole make an impact part too.
Yeah, so you nailed that perfectly. But just so you guys can wrap your head around this, like if we could start from scratch, where we're literally starting a new coaching business from scratch in the next couple of weeks. But if you're wondering what's the best way to do it, here it is. Dial in your niche messaging, aka what's in your bio, whether it's on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever. You know your niche messaging is good or not how do they know, Jess?
If you've booked at least 2 calls organically in the last 7 days.
If you haven't done that, then what's that mean?
That means you need to work on your niche messaging.
Exactly. And so high level, a way you can think about niche messaging is just being able to answer this one sentence. I help audience get desire in X amount of time. So for 6 Figure Coach, it was we'll help you build, or we'll help new coaches build a 10K a month business within 90 days guaranteed. Really simple, right? Sexy. If I'm at a dinner party and you ask me what I do, Well, I tell you that in 5 seconds. I'm like a 5-second Sally versus like
a 10-minute Todd.
a 10-minute Todd.
And what we mean by that is we've all been at a dinner party where you ask somebody, hey, what do you do? And they go on this diatribe for 10 minutes trying to tell you what they do. And you're done with your cocktail and you're swirling your ice around and you're trying to figure out how to get out of the situation.
So that's step one. If you're starting from scratch, dial in your niche messaging so that you're booking calls. Okay, now that you're booking calls, better have a high ticket offer dialed in. So then we suggest $1,500 to $3,000. If you work with us, we have you starting at $3,000. So if that sounds sexy to you, hit us up.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, okay, you should be closing at about 30% in the very first month. Okay, cool. Well, then your next goal is you're gonna be booking calls within the first 7 days, close 5 clients, work with them one-to-one. You guys following me so far?
I'm following.
Okay, cool. And then after that, if your sequence for all of those clients on how you help them get the result they want is the same, well then you can then at that point roll into group coaching. So an easy way to do that, like a lot of people overcomplicate flipping from one-to-one to group coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an easy way to do it. Take all of your one-to-one clients. At this point, let's say you only have 5 clients and you've got 5 coaching calls that are 1 hour each. Okay, cool. You just hit up all of your one-to-one clients and be like, hey, guess what? I'm gonna hook you up with an extra group coaching call per week. How's that sound? So now you've got 6 calls per week, right? Follow me, maybe you have 7. And because maybe you want to spread the week, a Tuesday, Thursday, like we do, like we have 2 group coaching calls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well here's where things get cool. Say you take on your 6th client. Well then how many group coaching calls do you now have?
1?
6. Well, you still have 6 coaching calls.
6 coaching calls,
Say,
but 1 group coaching call.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. Say you take on a 7th client. How many coaching calls do you have?
6 total.
Exactly. You guys see how this is getting cool? And then within a few months, once the 90 days are up with those first 5 to 6 clients, with those first 5 clients, all of a sudden you have a very scalable and lightweight business model where you're literally checking in with your clients daily in less than 5 minutes a day, and you are having 1 to 2 weekly group coaching calls. And that's pretty much it. That's how we scaled very fast and how you get scaled too.
Yeah, that was great, babe. Great explanation.
Gotta just open up the kimono.
Yeah, you did.
Come on.
Should we talk a little bit about future plans now?
We should. Maybe we just tell them like, so if you guys are like, okay, I see the basic roadmap, high level, but then I've been dragging my feet because I don't know what niche to be in. We should touch on that, and then we should touch on where we're going next.
Okay, I'm in.
Cool. So if you want to start a coaching business, awesome. Now, in order to dial in your niche messaging, you got to know what your coaching niche is, you know what I mean? And so what we would tell you is first you want to pick one of the core 4 markets. Jess, you know what those are off the top of your head?
I do. Health, wealth, relationship, and self-development.
That's exactly it. And so you get very specific and niche down inside of one of those, but that's what we tell all of our clients is just pick one of those and you're going to be doing really well. Like we've had some clients, no joke, sell $3,000 plus. Like we had one recently. She was closing $3,000 clients her 2nd week with us, booking calls her 1st week with us, and she was selling horse training over Zoom. Pretty gnarly. Before working with us, she'd only sold like $12 ebooks. So it just goes to show you that, if you know how to sell, which we'll show you how to do, you can crush it. But just to make things easy on yourself, pick a coaching niche that's inside of the core 4 markets. Now, what would we say to people who are like, Jeff and Jess, I don't want a niche. I want to be a life coach. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? You don't want a niche down? No worries. You should be an accountability coach. That would be perfect for you.
Accountability coach, huge. And so here's why this works is because as an accountability coach, you're able to help people with their goals in those big core 4 markets. You could specialize in just one. You can be an accountability coach for people who are looking to lose weight. You can be an accountability coach for people
who want to grow their business.
People who are trying to get their first book written in 90 days. We have a client doing that, crushing it.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically high level, dialing in. If you don't know what niche to pick, don't worry about it too much. Listen to the market, listen to them, what they want, and that's gonna help you decide. Think of it as a living thing. We have clients that change their niche literally every single month just based on the feedback they're getting from clients. And then if you really don't want a niche, that's actually cool too. you should be an accountability coach, because then you could help people reach their goals in any facet of life.
Exactly.
Cool. So now you guys
Sweet.
have the basic roadmap. You've got at least an idea for how to get started with your niche. And I think that takes us up to present day, where you guys can kind of be seeing what we're doing to scale from scratch to 7 figures, right?
Yeah,
They're all caught up?
I think so. If
Cool.
you're not, let us know what else you want to know in the comments, and we'll jump into more backstory or more Puerto Rico, more whatever.
Yeah. Should we cut it right here?
Oh yeah, okay.
Do you want to talk about starting from scratch to 7 figures?
Yeah, maybe we save that for next week, because this has gone pretty long, and our lovely audience is probably like, this is great, yeah.
Yeah, we were all over the place. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in next week, same bat time, bat channel.
All right, guys. We'll see ya.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below what you want us to talk about. If we were unclear on anything, I'm sure we were.
Yeah, we can clarify anything.
Yeah, but if you want to hear more about our backstory, like literally when we first started online, that could be a fun video. How we first met, that could be a fun video.
Oh, that would be a really fun video.
How to get your first client this week, that could be a fun video.
I love that one. Maybe we'll have to write these down. These are all good ones.
Exactly. So let us know in the comments below. We'll listen to you guys and let you guys decide.
Sweet.
That's all we got. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.